I want to buy this business. Focus is everything. The clear answer, what the buyer is buying.
Did you become a millionaire?
Yeah.
How was that feeling, by the way?
Strange answer, but it feels really bad. By default, your investment will fail. The most promising startup from my portfolio already failed. Make your return of 3x or even 5x, that's not the good deal, actually. The very minimum you have to expect is
Let's go. Good day, Cyril. How are you doing?
Hi, Nix. Everything is really great.
From where are you originally from?
Wow, complicated question, but the answer is simple. Originally, I'm from Belarus. I'm a Belarusian citizen.
Okay, let's go. And how many years in Latvia?
4 years and 4 months already.
Let's go. We are here right now in our Riga headquarters. What got you to come to Latvia?
First of all, I was really in some kind of troubles at the end of my living in Belarus. You know that the year 2020 was really tough and complicated for people who are doing something meaningful in Belarus. And after the failed presidential elections, I had, let's say, 2 or 3 months to quickly decide what will be my next country of residence for me and for my entire family. So the choice was in favor of Latvia because, first of all, we had the European sales quarter here in Riga for almost 5 to 6 years before we exited from our company, and I had some good business relations here in Latvia with the businessmen and the venture capitalists. So let's say if I had my operational business during those years, I was not definitely after the exit. I probably have been choosing, let's say, Lithuania, because you know that labor market in Lithuania for IT software companies are a bit better than in Latvia now. But I had my own company for this moment back in the end of 2020. If I had my venture capital fund, I definitely choose Estonia, because you know that the venture landscape in Estonia is a bit better, let's say, than here in Latvia. But I didn't had venture capital fund as well. So I chose something in between. And what is in between of Lithuania and Estonia?
Latvia,
Exactly.
Latvia. But can you give me of course, I know a lot of things you are doing, have done, but maybe can you give an elevator pitch about your business experience, entrepreneurial experience?
Do I have 30 seconds for this?
Let's do a minute. Let's do a minute or two.
Okay. The answer is very simple. For the recent 2 decades in Belarus, there was a huge and bright software engineering school, let's say. So you were able to get as many software engineers, programmers, and coders as you want at a cheap price. So each and every guy who started 20 years ago their business in Belarus, they were considering creating a software development company. So were we, me and 2 my partners. We started as usual with software outsourcing, but very quickly we got to the idea that focus is everything. If you want to grow your own business, you must be focused. You must be stand out of the competition, and the best way is to start creating your own software products, because you can sell the hour of your software engineer once, probably 2 times if you are tricky enough. But if you are selling products and licenses, you can sell these 10 times. 100, 1,000 times and get the great multiplier on your capital, on your human capital as well, and on all your efforts.
What was the business?
Software for e-commerce. We created the software that powered at the end of, before the exit, about 70,000 online stores in the world.
It's globally called Aheadworks.
Aheadworks.com, exactly.
Mix will also put it on the screen. I'm looking at it right now. It's Magento extensions.
Yes, that's the main, that was and still is after the exit, the main part of the business of this
one, right?
Exactly.
Can you maybe scroll down, Mix, just to see some more stuff? Okay. So it's basically extensions, plugins, plus some services or no services?
I do not know exactly what the company is doing right now because it was already 6 years after we exited. But before this, I must say that our main focus was on creating and selling software licenses, not to create the custom development teams, something like that.
Okay. And let's say how much the business was doing back then when you were still operating it.
Unfortunately, I cannot disclose the exact figures because it was strictly prohibited with our selling agreement. But until the very last day of the exit, we were running of a team of 50 plus engineers, and when negotiating with with the current buyer, we exited at slightly lower than 10x EBITDA.
Okay. Did you become a millionaire?
Yeah, me and two my partners, I was at the age of 40 years back that time. And actually, we've got a status of millionaires, not just on paper, but on our actual bank accounts as well.
Nice. How was that feeling, by the way?
Strange answer, but it feels really bad. Because when you're running business, you know all your problems, all your achievements. You can say what you expect in the next quarter, next business year, next financial year, doesn't matter. A lot of troubles, but a lot of things you have to do actually. When you have a pile of cash, but no more operational business, it's kind of frustration. What to do next? But I was lucky enough to get the answer even 1 year before the exit. I understood that exit is inevitable. So in this case, I have for that moment not only networking, not only expertise, not only my personal knowledge, but finally a pile of cash so I can start investing in new companies, a new generation of software entrepreneurs, and probably one day become the part of something much bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But what made you sell the business and how was the selling process?
It was, let's say, a bit nervous because we had one false start at the year of 2017 when the team of C-level managers from Magenta e-commerce platform, it was right before they were sold to Adobe Corporation. So the team of buyers descended at the headquarters at our main office and started the very intensive due diligence process. We were almost at the beginning of final agreement. We agreed on price, we agreed on details, but there was no trick how to explain it. There was no clear feeling and clear desire from the buyer's side. You know, when you are trying to sell your business to a corporation, it's not a clear intention from that side. It's a kind of balance of KPI of C-level managers. What do they want? How will they report it to the board of directors? And when you have some kind of controversial vectors of KPIs of buying team, you cannot expect to have it remarkable, let's say. So we learned this lesson in 2017. We slightly rebuilt our business. And the next 2 years, we were searching for the real buyer with a real desire and really one point of decision. Not the board, not the voting, but the man who will say, I want to buy this business. And only after that, you can feel that the things are getting to the better side.
On a tactical level, how do you, if you decide, hey, we want to sell the business, we would love to exit it, we would love to move forward to the next venture. Like on a tactical level, how do you find a buyer?
Tactical level. Let's start with a strategic one. Because if you see the strategy of your selling and the strategy of your buyer, the clear answer, what the buyer is buying. Not your business, but particularly what is the main value. And the answer is not so simple as you can imagine, actually, because it might be the cash flow or revenue. It might be the net profit or EBITDA. It might be in kind of acqui-hires, so-called acqui-hires, when the buyer is buying the team, the entire business, but only because of the team behind it. The buyer can buy only the code base or your product or even the traffic on your website. So when you understood what is the main value for your prospective buyer, then you can move to the tactical level, actually.
Okay. What was in your case? What was it?
In our case, it was a complex of things. First of all, our buyer, Rave Digital, it is a United States company, but the owner is originally from India, and he ran his business from two sides, let's say, the front office in the United States, in Miami, and the back office in India. You know that you can have brilliant salesmen in the United States. They are expensive, but they are doing great work. You can have the backend in India. It is cheap, actually, and you can hire as many people as you want. But you cannot expect the high level of expertise. You have to buy something in between. And in this case, Headworks.com, with his main Belarusian office, was the brilliant idea and the, let's say, cherry on top of this cake. The buyer was able immediately to start selling the team of Indian backend programmers and coders, led by mid-level or senior-level developer in Belarus, like a software architect. So the leverage for the buyer out of this acquisition was immediately 3 to 4x. Let's say, in terms of revenue and partly profit that he was able to gain out from this acquisition.
Based on your experience, what would be some negotiation tactics, tips you would say to somebody who would maybe be in a situation similar in the future, or in general, they would love to have a better agreement with their, I guess, investors, partners, etc.?
No single answer. If you want from me the very simple and single answer, it is learn how to negotiate. Not just how to negotiate the selling of a business, doesn't matter. Learn how to negotiate any kind of deal. Understand another side, actually, understand mutual interests. And the main point is the so-called zone of possible agreement. Understand where are you and your buyer can meet each other with your expectations, actually. The simple advice that I can put: try to understand your own feelings and values first. Because if you understand yourself and your interests, it becomes a bit better and easier to understand another part.
That can give you an advantage on, how does that give you an advantage on the negotiation? Okay, I understand myself. Like, okay, well, how does it benefit?
Okay, so currently you have the understanding of your zone of possible agreement. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what you want from this deal. Let's say, put it simple: how much money do you want to gain from this acquisition? Yeah. And how much effort you can put afterwards. Because until you close the deal, you are fighting, negotiating your own business, your own pocket, let's say. But when the agreement has been signed, fixed, you probably receive some money upfront, but in most cases, the acquisition continues. And it's kind of earn out, let's say, when the resulting price is based on the performance of your previous business after selling, but you're still working on these KPIs as an insider. It's quite an often case when the owner still be a C-level executive after the acquisition in the company of acquirers, actually, and he is trying to fulfill the promises he made before selling this company. Let's say we will reach 10 million of revenue in this business unit. It was previously my own company, but currently it's one of the other business units in this corporation, and I must fulfill my promises. And I must say that it is not so easy when you were the owner, the boss, and now you are just one of the other C-level executive in the corporation. It's a tricky question, but we were quite lucky. Our deal was very clear without any kind of earnouts, just a small dissemination of the installments of payments, but we have no obligations to continue doing this business. And I must say, it was made possible because we bit restructured our business and got from, let's say, how we call it, number of the seats in your office, number of chairs, to very focused, strict team. As far as I remember, we reduced the number of headcount, let's say, in the company from 50 plus down to 40 minus, let's say. Because you know that for software development companies, doesn't matter product ones or outsourcing ones or something in between like ScandiWeb here in Riga, in Latvia, you can expect very similar range of revenue per head, actually, revenue per employee. For most of the Eastern European software companies, it's something in between of 40K annually to 60, 65K. I have no clear explanation why, because the different businesses are very different. Probably the region, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like software businesses or service businesses, like huge difference, right? Like huge.
Probably, but it's mainly based on the costs of this kind of business. That's just a philosophy of real world business. If you have some kind of competition, you definitely will somehow balance, you and your competitors somehow balance your revenue rate, hourly rate, if you are doing software outsourcing, expenses and net profit.
What did you do after that? So you sell the business. What then? Because I know you're also in this Ladban, which is the biggest Latvian or the founding
the only nationwide association of business angels. My intention was, first of all, not to jump back into operational business, at least for 5 years. I said to myself...
Very specific.
Exactly. I said to myself that I want to spend the next 5 years without operational business, but keeping, let's say, advising, mentoring, and investing into younger entrepreneurs, actually. I was not able to raise my own venture capital fund, doesn't matter alone or with partners. Unfortunately, I started this job in 2021 to understanding how to raise the first venture capital funds as an emerging manager, actually. But the war begins, the rates both in European Union and the United States get higher, and fundraising for VC funds became a really tough job, actually. So I focused on angel investing at the very early stage, actually. Okay. When I get to Latvia in 2021, I saw that Latvian Business Angel Network existed, but it was not in a very good shape, actually. When I was the first time elected as a board member, I must say that Ladban was in a really poor situation. No leadership, almost no understanding how to do it properly in new situation, in the world of high bank rates, actually, when no one is so willing to continue investing in early stage risky deals. And without, let's say, almost without cash on Ladban's bank account. But after 3 years of hard work, not just my work, the work of the entire board and our managing director, we get to the very good shape. 6 syndicated deals closed in the previous year, in 2024. The budget for the recent year and for current year already secured with a part of state support, definitely. And I say that early stage investments, angel and VC funds here in Latvia is in a very good shape now. Not the same as in Estonia, but very comparable to Lithuania.
So you said 6 deals per year syndicated, which means many investors invest, but Ladban as a whole invests, and you have a syndicate kind of like portion of that deal as an investor.
Very similar. I want to ask you, let's say, probably you can guess. In Finland, there is a FIBAN, Finnish Business Angels Network.
Okay.
When I first met with the FIBAN members at their gathering, there were some statistics uncovered.
Okay.
Can you guess what was the average amount of deals, lifetime for the FIBAN member, for angel investor? An average, let's say.
30.
30. Guess once again, please. You're very far from the exact answer.
High or low?
Much lower.
Much lower.
It should be much lower.
But
You
okay.
put it too high.
Okay. No, maybe 10.
No, for that year, 7 years ago, actually, it was 2.1. Which means,
so average deal.
yeah, which means that most of the FIBAN members for that year, 7 years ago, had only one portfolio company, and the active core of FIBAN Angels had more. Let's say so. On average, 2.1. Currently, this situation fixed. So now FIBAN celebrated already their 15th anniversary, and currently they have something about 5+, as far as I remember.
Average.
On average, right?
Yeah.
Because people are learning how to syndicate deals more and more. And when you're investing in an early stage startup, you have two different choices actually. To invest alone, because no one more is interested in this particular deal. And you say to yourself, actually, Nick, I see that this deal is very promising. Why should I share this promising deal with anyone else? I can put all my cash into this future unicorn company, and then I win. I'm quite smart, right? I know how to invest, how to distinct the promising company from not promising one, so why not? In reality, you must be prepared. By default, your investment will fail. And this particular company will definitely fail, by default. And where it's small chance, much less than 10% or 5% of succeed for this company. And not only once, it must be the success from round to round to bring you significant return. Right. When you see that this particular deal can make you a return of 3x or even 5x, that's not the good deal, actually. The very minimum you have to expect is 10x from this particular deal. Only in this case, your entire portfolio will make a significant return to you.
How many deals have you invested in? And what's the kind of situation here in Latvia? Like how many deals did they do per... Okay, you said last year 6, but like total deals.
My own investment portfolio it was slightly more than 20 portfolio startups, but unfortunately, time flies, and the company is getting closed or bankrupt. Doesn't matter what. So currently, I have only 16 alive portfolio companies. Unfortunately, most of them are with the Russian-speaking founders, and you know that for the recent 3 years, it is tough times for Russian-speaking founders. Doesn't matter from where they are. Ukraine, Belarus, doesn't matter where they are incorporated. If they are in Europe, they are in trouble, actually. Right.
That's interesting. Like, like the reason, okay, the war is the reason, but like why
Not just the war, actually, because you know that when the early stage VC is considering your particular deal, he is not considering your particular deal. He is comparing the cards on his table, actually. Okay. So when someone is evaluating your company, your startup, let's say Startify, right? Sharpify, sorry. The evaluation is not just the Sharpify chances to become a unicorn or decacorn company. It's just weighing the opportunities with any other choice that currently is at the table. And if the next one pitch, next one deck is a bit more promising than yours, your deal will be skipped. and the check will be written to another startup.
And now it's like interesting for me to ask you, like, can you maybe share one or two examples of the most promising startups you invested? We could like look at them, and then you could walk me through why did you invest in them, or what you see as a huge potential for those companies.
Oh, the most promising startup from my portfolio already failed. You can type copymonkey.ai.
Copymonkey.ai.
And this was the real brilliant in my portfolio because it was the very first.
This one?
Yeah, this one. It was the very first startup, not just in the Baltics, but in the entire Eastern Europe that used generative AI technologies for somehow e-commerce purposes. It was incorporated and started their operation and building product right before the ChatGPT was announced. ChatGPT was in November 2022, and we have invested in CopyMonkey in the beginning of 2021. The company is incorporated here in Latvia. Unfortunately, the money after the recent round flew away too quickly, and the company failed to success with their product market fit, unfortunately. And without next round, you are unable to continue your startup operations. Currently, we took over this company and trying to figure out what may be the destiny of this product. Can we pivot it? Can we sell the assets? Definitely not, because the assets of such kind of startups cannot be valuable actually. So we are still deciding. So this is a clear example of the destiny of early stage investor. Your most promising startup is already failed.
And the reason was we cannot get sales, we cannot get customers, or the reason was, hey, our technology just got smashed by a much better technology like ChatGPT.
Not this case. The reason, as I said, always the same. The default for any startup company is to be failed.
Yeah, but why do you think they? Like, do you have a possibility in your mind that it could be successful? Because I think it could.
No more. Because once again, when you are building something new or pivoting your previous startup, the only way to do this is fuel it by the small or medium venture round. In startup world,
but if they have money, let's say this business has like zero revenue, or what?
No, it's quite okay in terms of early stage revenue. It's more than 1,000 MRR. They can continue their operations, but at the, let's say, very early stage. But how can you name the startup being at the early stage if it is already 4 years old?
Oh, yeah.
No way. In this case, each and every venture capitalist or experienced angel investor will say, doesn't matter. I will not consider this particular deal at all. I will focus on new teams, new current opportunities, because if you are too old, you are too old. You'd better start something
like 4 years is a lot. And then you're like 1 to 10K per month.
So it was exactly what the previous founding team did with the CopyMonkey, when they realized that their pace of business development is too slow to continue their venture operation. They just switched to another idea, another startups, another investors. So the early investors like me and other co-investors decided to buy out the assets and to think what to do next with this bunch of code, software stuff, website, traffic. That's it.
Quick question on this. Let's talk next about different startups, which is really interesting. This is an interesting case, I think, for many people to hear. And for me also, like right now, I'm building a software company. Started selling it last month. Software side of the business, it's a new business entity. Already seeing good success, such as first month 28 paying customers, second month enrolling 31 additional customers on a trial. But because we're just testing, we want to just have better product. Then we start to selling it more. What would be an expected kind of amount of money which people could expect to get from a venture capital fund or a person or investor, and what would be the relatively percent-wise the ask size from the how much I give away. Because I had some offers already for this, where people offer 50K plus labor, like helping with labor, but then they want like 30% of the company, which seems incredibly a lot.
Understood. Despite that, I didn't remember all the numbers you currently said about your startup. The rules of this game are really simple, let's say. First of all, the startup must be chasing the huge and growing market.
Okay.
That's it. You must have an opportunity to show yourself first and your prospective investors the huge market. No one is interested in the market of 100 million, actually.
You mean 100 million people?
No. When you're talking about market, it's always talking about the money on this market.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Markets
no
of
other
money.
metrics can be used when you're talking about the market.
Number
Market
of
is
potential-
only money.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So if this particular market volume is not more than 100 million and it is not growing, it's not the venture case. If it is growing and the prospective market is, let's say, 1 billion plus, then this may be played as a venture game. First of all. Second, you must have the real opportunity or real problem you're solving. And you know what? The best startups, world-class startups, are not solving problems. They're chasing opportunities. Because if the problem already exists, so someone else already trying to solve it, you're getting into a competition even before you're starting this game. But if you're chasing an opportunity, just a brief example. What was wrong with old good smartphones with a physical keyboard? BlackBerry, let's say. Nothing. Every customer, every user was happy actually with the BlackBerry phones. So what problem did Steve Jobs solve actually with this very first iPhone with only two physical keys, let's say? Button, home button, and power switching, power off. No, but he was chasing an opportunity.
What the people would want to have, but they do not yet know they wouldn't want
Probably,
to have.
yeah, probably.
Interesting.
And when you are chasing an opportunity, you must ride the wave. Probably you just start seeing this wave. Probably already the market is here. But the answer must be clear. What is the next shift in this industry, in the global world, let's say? You can count the main shifts, let's say, for the recent 3 decades on fingers of your one hand. Back to late 90s, the penetration of internet and World Wide Web. You can easily name the huge businesses that ride that wave.
Google.
Amazon, Google, exactly. Next wave, what it is?
Social media?
The penetration of real connected to the internet smartphones. It was not started with iPhone only. It started way back. Let's say in 2011, I was in the headquarters of Nokia Corporation. And the C-level guy standing at the tribune, he said, guys, your market is 1 billion of Nokia devices worldwide. But as I said, market is not the number of devices or people or users. Market can be only valued in United States dollars or euros, let's say, any other money, any other currency. So if you have the huge market of 1 billion devices, but $0 in it, you have no market at all. Okay. So we counted the huge and growing market, the current shift in the industry, the new tide, let's say the new wave. Last but not least, the team. Can those guys or that particular guy, is he able to build a huge business if he will get a small chance, at least a minor chance? But
how do you can tell that? How can you tell that? Like, let's say that person typically never has a business before that was successful. How can you tell that?
Probably this particular person has never had the real business.
Of course, most likely, right?
Does he have any kind of ambitions?
Okay,
you can easily feel this talking to this guy for, let's say, half an hour or probably a bit more, understanding what is his personal history. What is
Okay.
his level of energy and what are
Okay.
his dreams? I must say that every person in this particular room has his own, let's say, sailing of ambitions. And if, let's say, okay, 1 million euro is huge amount of money, but it is far not enough to live your entire life until the, let's say, the end, and it is not far enough for your family, right? What about 10 million?
Still not.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Sorry, you do not, because the real for Europe, for let's say Central and Eastern Europe, you can live quite good with much less than 500,000 spending for your family for life, and the rest
500,000 per life.
500,000 annually, exactly.
Annually, not
Annually,
annually.
of
So it's
course.
10 years,
So,
it's 5 million.
Yeah. So no. So you can invest the rest of 9.5 million, and you can gain enough return of your investment to continue your quiet life, quiet living with your family until the end of your life, actually.
If no shit happens, like for example, the crisis for 4 years, boom.
Doesn't matter. You can just put the stock chart of S&P 500, and then you can see, let's put it from the end of Second World War, let's say. Start from 1946.
It's always,
In this case, you can see a lot of troubles.
A lot of trouble, like
Caribbean crisis, the crisis with oil and oil prices, the destruction of Soviet Union, a lot of. But on a long run, S&P 500 is growing not less than 7 to 8% annually in compound growth, actually. But if you can take the Nasdaq index, you will see that Nasdaq is growing much more. Just not in the case when you are investing in a Nasdaq index right at the very peak of the, let's say, dot-com bubble. In this case, you are in trouble. But both of us are smart enough not to do this.
Okay. So we have the team, we have the opportunity, not the problem.
And the huge and growing market. And you know what is the most important?
What is it, by the way? What is a huge growing market? Would it be like more than 10% per year?
Better 15% per year, yes. Because
more, you mean?
Or more, yes. Because as we said, if you are okay with the growing of 11% per year, you'd better not investing. Let's buy the Nasdaq index and you will have the same at full liquidity. You can sell it anytime you want, and you can expect the same gain, the same return on investment. But when you're doing venture capital investments, as I said, you must expect at least 10x from each particular deal. That means that your startup portfolio startups target market must be growing in higher pace, actually. Not 10, not 15. Better starting from 15 and higher numbers.
I'm just checking on ChatGPT. What are some growing industries that are growing more than 15 per year? They give us renewable energy. They give us telemedicine. They give us e-commerce logistics. Of course, AI and machine learning is 30 plus per year. Biotechnology is like 14. EV, like electric vehicles, it's like very high.
Quite enough.
Waste management services.
No. Let's wipe out all the so-called ESG topics. Waste management, such kind of this.
What does this mean, ESG?
Sustainable growth. I don't remember the E, the very first letter. All this. Sorry,
like renewable energy, all of this. You mean?
This stuff that was pushed into public during the recent decade, but currently everyone can see that these topics are stepping down and they are not more in a global agenda. Let's say. That's it. And you see that you already named a lot of verticals. But ChatGPT, you asked about this, is a clear example that if you want to build a huge business, probably no necessity to look for a real problem. What kind of problem ChatGPT is solving? No. You can do everything similar with the old instruments, old tools. But the opportunity, chasing an opportunity, it's the opportunity to build really huge business. Do you know the current valuation of OpenAI?
Probably 100 billion plus, probably, right?
Something like that. I don't
think
remember.
it's crazy. Like
It is crazy, right?
They have like, I think 500 million active
You
customers.
already mentioned the e-commerce logistics, e-commerce software. It is still a hot topic. You know that Shopify was introduced back in 2006, probably. And the very first investment into Shopify in 2007, it was 250K at 3 million valuation. At the next 8 years, on the IPO, Shopify was valued at 1.3 billion. So the valuation get almost how much? I cannot calculate quickly. A lot, okay.
A lot.
But today, as a public company, Shopify is valued at crazy 121 billion.
And
Once again, 100x after the initial IPO.
And OpenAI, as of May 2025, is at 300 billion right now.
Huge numbers,
Crazy,
right?
crazy. How do we, as entrepreneurs or people who are looking for these opportunities, how do we see them? Like, of course, I see one opportunity, but it's not like an opportunity. I see just a trend that AI agents, this kind of hype around that thing. That's like one thing for sure. People kind of like rushing to that. But how do we like tactically see those things?
Yeah, I have no clear answer, but I have quite of guess. In this case, don't try to chase low-hanging fruits. Because if you are thinking about something that you can achieve and that is obvious for you, let's say, as a business angel, I have at least 10 new pitch decks in a month, with they are solving kind of a problem. We create Gen AI for online ads, let's say. So why don't you have all this production department working on online ads? You can just put the prompt into current ChatGPT and get all the visuals on the textile content and start selling, advertising online with zero effort. Okay? Low-hanging fruit. How can such kind of startups achieve the huge achievements, actually? No way. So don't think about low-hanging fruits. Think about something you definitely cannot achieve now. But if you start working on this, probably you can achieve this in 5, 7, 8 years. And in this case, you have the chance to build something really huge. And if you can convince your early-stage investors in that, this is their chance to get their 1000x return or 500x return, doesn't matter. Chasing the unachievable goal.
Can I give you an example and then you rate me? I want to give you an example and I want you to rate that idea. Like because I have in mind what it could be, but because there's nothing like that currently. My idea is like what I would love to have, but I don't yet know or have it, is the opportunity that I, as a business, basically can get incoming people coming to me via phone call, via message, via opt-in, and I have people, aka stuff, robots, something that is basically communicating them, picking up their phone, calling them again, and just giving me like a summary on my phone about what just happened in my business. And they're actually like enrolling customers, serving customers, helping the customers, and I'm just getting a report.
Thanks, Nick. But this is a clear example that you cannot just imagine on this particular moment something really huge. This is the clear example of chasing the low-hanging fruits. If you can work out this idea or this concept without thinking and looking for real future opportunities, this is quite obvious. In this moment, I must say that at least 10,000 teams are working on something very similar. What's the idea of getting this future competition with 10,000 competitors? Or even 1,000 of the teams worldwide? think about huge things every day, and even better, every night. And one day you will see this huge opportunity. Let's say, let's keep a simple example. A friend of mine, Ruslan Fazliev, the creator of X-Cart e-commerce platform, one day he woke up and think, why should we, it was back in 2009, as far as I remember, why should we have all these CMS platforms that needs to be installed on a dedicated server if we want to start running the online store business? Why should not we create a small JavaScript widget that can be incorporated on each and every HTML page? And back to those days, it was kind of a crazy idea. Not so many people in the world were thinking that it is really possible. Because the common habit, the situation that is understandable for each and every guy in this industry, it said it is not possible or not executable, let's say. But he tried to fulfill this idea. His very first investment check was 1.5 million at 4 million valuation. So the early stage investors took about 30%. And after 12 years of building business, Ruslan sold his company, Equid, to Canadian corporation Lightspeed at $500 million. 500 million in a clear cash. Quite
100x basically.
For his investor, for his early stage investor. Not even near, because the first investor exited much earlier at a much lower multiplier, but still quite good for their returns.
So I was thinking through what you just said about the example I gave, and it seems to me that the real thing is thinking about what people think you cannot do currently, and then just trying to do that. That's kind of how I kind of see, as you told me.
Yeah, for me, it is really clear and very understandable. Because if I see that you can do that, so a lot of other people can do that. And probably they are smarter than you, or they are working harder than you, or they just have no time to run such kind of lovely podcasts. They are focused on their core business. And their prospective early-stage investors have much more knowledge than me, much more money. They can support their portfolio companies for the next 3 venture rounds, let's say, early stage, then seed, Series A after that. So those teams with their investors will succeed with more chances than we, let's say you as a founder and me as an early stage investor. But if no one is thinking that it is possible, probably no one is working on this idea right now. You are the first. I am the first backer, the first venture investor who believed and supported this idea. And in this situation, we have a small chance, but real chance to succeed and build, let's say, 1 billion or 10 billion company. No problem.
The second part of it is what I have seen, of course, and you will, I think you would agree with me, is that not only you need to be first, it doesn't even give you a competitive advantage, but you need to be the loudest or the best at selling people that thing. Because I have seen so many people they build the thing, they work on the thing, but if they don't know how to get attention or how to sell, doesn't matter. Right? And this podcast, by the way, is kind of I'm doing the step ahead of that thing, which is going to be the attention, the audience. Because many YouTubers with huge audiences, if they launch something, it's like, it can be way more successful.
Exactly. And this is the part of this venture game. That a lot of huge scandals, they were possible only in the venture capital industry. The iconic examples are Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes. A lot of similar ones.
I know that. Yeah. Or WeWork, right?
Yeah, exactly. I have very fresh example without putting any names. So it's can be anonymous, but a very good guy without real achievements. He created his own story, put it on LinkedIn. When you start checking this story, let's say early founder exited at blah, 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 when you're checking this story, the very second call to his, let's say, partners or employers actually will uncover the situation that he is not the founder and he did not play any role in exit, but it was put on the LinkedIn profile. And 95% of people and prospective investors are still believing that this is true. This guy telling that his startup is YC backed. But if you open the list of YC alumni, you will not find this particular name or this particular company. You will find this guy name at a very different startup that was already probably closed or very heavily pivoted. So in venture capital, you must be loud, you must be visible, and this increases your chances of successful fundraising. But it is not increasing your chances of building real huge business and getting the huge exit out from it. Only in terms of good fundraising. And this is what we started our part of discussion of. If you see that your ambitious sailing is, let's say, number of millions up to 10 millions, you don't need to build a huge business. No way. You can just fundraise with a successful vision and successful presentation and your sales skills. You can fundraise these humble millions and quietly get away from this.
Yeah, because I have this one friend of mine whose name is Raimons Simonovskis, and he has basically a software that is analytical thing for people who use like Atlassian. So basically, the main thing is basically he's getting customers from Atlassian's marketplace, and he has like $1 million per year business with like great margins and everything. And I loved how he said. So he said this good thing, which I remember, is don't chase the $1 billion opportunities because you're going to compete with you know who. Maybe just look for €1 million opportunities, and you can have something meaningful still. Like a software company at 10 million, EBITDA at 7, it's still probably, how much would the value be? It's like good, right? With good retention, right?
That's nice point. And once again, getting back to the topic of personal ambitions, I can recap the dialogue with Arkady Dobkin, the founder and current president of EPAM Systems. It's a huge corporation. Their stocks are part of S&P 500. When we met in 2014, we talk about prospective acquisition, that our company will be acquired or merged with EPAM Systems. Definitely, the difference between two companies was really huge. They were gone public 2 years ago. We were still very small software development team, software development business, let's say. And I asked to Arkady, after we actually understood that there will be no mutual interest in acquisition, I asked, Ark, what drives you to continue your hard working? You already get public. You have a board of directors. You have 20 direct reporters to you. You know that have more than 10 direct reporters is really hard in business. For most of the people, 5 to 7 is okay. More than 7 is a really huge number. What drives you to continue hardworking is this already public business? And he answered somehow politely, my promises that I made to my early partners and early employees that we will be building something really huge. But I have no understanding why those huge people are still working hard. Because my personal, let's say, ambitious sailing is, let's say, somewhere in between from 50 millions to 500 millions, but definitely not billions. This probably means that I will not build the huge business again. I don't know. Let's see in the next decade.
Can you maybe share some startups where you have invested, but they're looking promising and still kind of surviving?
Wow. One of the iconic deal for me here in Latvia was Lande Finance.
What's the name?
Lande,
Lande.
Lande, Lande Finance.
I know him.
Yeah, you know
He has
them.
been here.
Probably, I don't know. Their business is and was and is their crowd lending platform. This one, yeah. Crowd lending platform for European farmers. When the farmer want to get a short or mid-term loan, and on the other part, the personals, let's say private investors, want to pool their money to finance actually this farmer's business. Very good, very sustainable and impactful business as Lande. They are really helping underbanked European farmers to succeed, actually. And I must say that their default rate is extremely low because every farmer puts a collateral. And you know that for farmers, only two types of collaterals are possible. The land and the next harvest.
Or they don't do the technique?
No one is interested to get the old tractors as a collector.
Really? But that still is valuable, I think. It's still sellable.
No. Unfortunately, it's still sellable, but it cannot be used as a real collateral in this case.
Really?
So I must say that for Latvia, it's quite a good example of promising business. Unfortunately, they are still not growing really huge in comparison in our fintech industry like Mintas or heavy finance in Lithuania. But as I said, they are not still failing. They are growing at a good pace, and probably in the next 2 or 3 years, they will broke the next level of their development and get up to, let's say, +0 at the end of their numbers, probably. They're already putting, as far as I remember, about 40 million, probably 50 million in total portfolio lending projects. Quite a good number, especially based on their field of business.
Well, what is that kind of important for us as entrepreneurs, founders, startup people who want to have something successfully? Like, what would you focus on initially to your first million per year? Like, what would be the main focus?
The question was too complex for me. Can you make it simpler?
What should I focus on for till my first million per year?
Okay.
Let's say we're doing a software company.
Probably my answer will be not very polite. You must focus on hard working, understanding your real customer needs, selling your solution yourself, not relying on salesman or sales department. That's first. Understanding your real customer needs, understanding how to sell exactly for yourself, understand how to sell this solution to your customers. And the third, to start building the reliable team that are not just employees, actually, that are really team members, and all of them are interested not on the next check in their bank as a salary. They are focused on success on the entire business.
Yeah, those would be like option pools, giving some, or what do you think? Because otherwise,
it is necessary. It is really necessary, but it is not enough.
What do you mean not enough?
Very intangible situation, I must say. When someone is thinking only about money, probably not just salary, but options that can be sold after the success of the company, it is still money thinking. But in this case, you cannot say this guy is the core team that wants to achieve the success of the business entirely. It's something intangible, let's say. But if you feel that this person will work with you without options, just in this case, you can put these options to this person. Only if he will be working for you and for your business without this kind of incentive.
Yeah, we had that one software developer who's like that.
That's great.
Who's like working also on the holidays at Latvia. Doesn't care. He wants to just make it good.
Kind of example, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, I have this dilemma. So I'm doing exactly what you're saying. So I'm speaking with, I would say, 3 to 7 customers per week about the product plus the problems, and I get a lot of different things. Like one customer needs this, the second one this, and then the question for me is, how do I decide what is the thing to actually do? And this is like okay, I have a vision for a product, but the customers are giving like different inputs on what they seem as needing. And the customers I'm speaking with are good customers. They're like doing 1 to 5 million per year as a business. They need my tool. They want the tool. Like, what is kind of like this? The problem for me is the dilemma of what is good feedback or what should I just ignore, because they're signals or noises. They're noise, not signal.
One of the most complex questions in the business. You have to balance your vision with the direct particular feedback. This kind of a business joke probably said somewhere from Henry Ford, that if I ask my prospective customers what do they want, they will answer me the, let's say, more faster horses or chariots, doesn't matter what. So vision is the first, feedback is the second, and how you balance your personal vision. You are not so stubborn to completely ignore the feedback, and you are not so flexible to forget about your vision and follow feedback only. And how you balance it, this defines your future prospective success, probably, or probably not.
But like this Ladban thing, like how realistic is for us? Okay, we have a pitch deck, we have a vision, we have a minimum valuable product. How likely is it, or what's the process of us getting some funding if we would love to get funding from, let's say, Ladban?
The clear action steps are: you already have not just an idea and not just a PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
You have something that can be considered as a very early stage business.
And that would be like an MVP, some customers?
Okay. Did I said something about MVP or customers?
No.
I said something that is an early stage business.
Okay.
At least the legal entity you are acquiring money investment to.
Okay.
First of all. Second, the founding team. It's much better than solo founder, and not because all this modern AI stuff, vibe coding, etc. The necessity of 2 co-founders is more kind of emotional support. That each and every person have some kind of waves of your personal energy and activity. And last but not least, it's a so-called buzz factor. So what happened with a solo founder if he get out from the meeting with investors and in accident he got under a bus on the street? What will happen? No way. No way. So buzz factor is also very important. So you have to be in a team with at least better 1 co-founder. Then the next action step, you have to apply with your project or with your startup or business to, let's say, particularly Latvian Business Angels Network. Or through website, you can submit your application and then not do it quietly. It is far not enough to submit something, because Ladban receives, as far as I remember, around 600 applications per year, which means much more than 10 every week.
Okay.
So don't keep quiet.
Okay.
After submitting, start pushing people. Push me or any new board member at Ladban. Push our managing director. You will easily find all the contact details down to phone numbers. Start pushing, asking when will be my application, let's say, reviewed, how to get to the pitch session. Are there any kind of tricks or turnarounds so I can pitch you, let's say, cutting the usual line. find the opportunity to participate, to attend the pitch session, even if you were not invited to. There is a lot of tricks you can use, white tricks, I mean, not black ones.
Okay.
Then get some network among prospective investors and business angels. You know that, well, just approach people. Start talking, participate in one or another event in a startup house,
Right.
talk to people, and don't be so humble. Say, I'm Nick, I'm running this particular startup, we're doing this and this, and probably not start trying to sell, not push
Just a
each
show, right? Just a show.
show up, let the people understand who are you,
What do you do?
what you are about, actually, probably not even what do you do, what you are all about. Are you a businessman? But please don't make the very common mistake. Don't, let's say, introduce yourself as a startup founder, or even worse, serial startup founder. Because for startup founder, it may be in his vision, like, I did a lot of startups before, so I experienced. Now, for angels, it sounds like I'm a serial killer. Sorry, that I already failed a lot of startups, and the next one will also be failed. This is how it sounds. Yeah.
Serial entrepreneur.
So please don't say that you are a serial entrepreneur. Say that you are a businessman. You are building a business. Yeah, my business is still kind of a startup. It's an early stage, but it is a business. And you see that you will become much more investable than before. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I actually went through the process of signing up. We also sent an application. We were like very, very, very hungry about it, but then we kind of did some thinking behind it, and we're like maybe thinking we don't need investment, because we had one guy proposing, and then we were thinking, are we willing to kind of do it? It's like the dilemma, I guess. You want the money, or maybe you don't need the money, because we kind of found a way how we can make it really okay money wise, super fast, like by selling like a little bit of a service side plus the software. So it's a little bit higher, so we can like liquidate costs and not basically burn money. And I will behind the scenes show you something, how it looks and how it's going. So I'm interested right now. I have in my notes that you started a company called Stealth Mode, generative AI, as in 2024.
Yeah,
what is that?
That's our new venture, my new business with a partner, because it is still under radars and stated as a stealth startup.
What does that mean? Stealth mode?
Stealth mode means that we are working on something new, something meaningful that we are not going to disclose right now, probably not even in this lovely podcast.
So it's basically, that's the code name, because I was thinking, like, what does that mean? It's like you are doing something, but you're not talking about it.
Sure. We're still under radars.
What kind of, about what it will be? Maybe what kind of problem it will solve?
No comments.
Okay.
No comments. Stealth mode means exactly stealth mode.
Interesting. How many months are you working on it?
Starting from February.
But you're an operator, or just like an investor?
I'm getting back to hands-on, and I'm one of two co-founders. And
back in the trenches.
Exactly.
Getting back in the trenches.
Sure.
By the way, as you're doing that, so you're not selling it, just doing the product, right?
No comments. Still no comments.
Okay. What do you think about this thing that is kind of popular here in Baltics? It's this Techchill events, right? And then this year they will actually be competing about 300,000 euros live. What do you think about these Techchill things? Is it good for the environment?
Techchill is doing really great.
Yeah.
I must say that there are only three things in Latvia, then three pillars, let's say, that takes all their venture ecosystem. First of all, it's Techchill as a conference, as a point of attraction, point of gravity for not only for insiders. Latvia is a small country, not only for the Baltics, but for the entire region. First of
Right.
all, that's a place, time, and place when all the people who are interested in what's going on can get in one particular place and start talking to each other. First of all. Second is a startup house. This is a physical place for people who are doing early stage startups and early stage investors who want to invest in some. And Startup House is running a lot of events, not less than 2 events every week, actually. And as a current leader of Ladban, I must say that Latvia's business and Leuticals is the third pillar that still keeps the early stage venture ecosystem in Latvia. That's it.
Nice. Okay. I actually wanted to talk about your startup like a lot and kind of get to pick your brain about it, but it's okay. Now, some rapid things. So, what has been the biggest advice you can say to anybody who would love to build a business? Like your kind of top advice, any kind of context goes.
Just to repeat once again, chase the highest goals you can imagine. Don't take the low-hanging fruits. That's not interesting, not the goal of your life. Chase something really huge that you probably cannot achieve in your life.
Okay. What has been some of the resources you would recommend, such as books, seminars, studies, universities, anything that comes to mind?
Nothing.
Nothing?
First of all, start doing something. Because there is no need to follow this old good way. First, we're learning in school, academy, university, doesn't matter. Then we start doing. Not this way. Start doing. And when you understood that you do not know how to do it properly, or you have constantly failed, then only after that start learning. And in this case, you will succeed. Not vice versa.
Got it. Interesting. Now, imagine you're living here in Latvia, as I understand, 4 years. Imagine I come from a different country and we need to party. We need to do something. You need to, let's say, entertain me or do something interesting. Where would you take me or what we would do?
But
anything goes.
Understood. If I can answer as a Ladban member and current leader. I will definitely take you to one of our on-site events. The very recent one will be tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
When we go, our podcast go public. It always will be the past. The next probably event will be the Gala Investors ceremony. It's May 16th. Probably it is already in the past when we went public.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, annual general meeting for all the Ladban members. It is semi-open. The first part is for members only, but after that, I invited already some people who are currently on a business trips here in Riga, actually. Because you know that venture business, it's all about connection, people, and one-on-one personal trust. It's not about money.
After we stop filming, I'm going to ask maybe some invitations, maybe something interesting. Okay.
But by default, you're always invited. So no need to ask for invitations.
Need some invitations. Like nice to be too special. But next thing, here in Latvia, most favorable restaurant.
I'm not fond of restaurants. So not this way. I'm very conservative.
Okay.
If I have the place where I feel quite good, that's enough for me. I'm not chasing the diversity and new opportunities, doesn't matter. So I can just name my lovely places. I spend time for breakfasts, lunch, and dinners, let's say. First of all, it's my lovely Humusia, small restaurant, Israeli bistro in near the Pulvertorna and the Vets Riga. Humusia, they are serving the Israeli food, and I'm fond of Israeli cuisine, Israeli food.
What's the name of it?
Humusia.
Okay, interesting.
Just near the Pulvertorna. First, the second one is a Bizet Cafe on the Blaumenejela.
Okay.
And it is very near to my house, and we spend almost every day drinking coffee there.
Okay.
And That's all.
Okay. What type of coffee and what is the favorite dessert?
I'm trying not to eat desserts too much because I'm trying to keep fit. But I have my guilty pleasure. It's Vecrīgas RBSPienu. And the best Vecrīgas RBSPienu is in the Laču Gardumi net of cafes, actually. So it must be the third place, let's say the nearest Laču Gardumi to my home on Terbatas iela.
What about coffee? What kind of coffee?
Coffee. I love coffee in a very different ways. At home, I'm drinking the espresso.
Okay.
But on different places, I prefer to have cappuccino because of different things. The answer is very simple. Yeah, when you're drinking espresso, it's too quick.
Yeah, it's too quick, right?
It's too quick.
I'm the guy who drinks coffee for 1 hour. I don't rush it. I do always double espresso, cappuccino with non-dairy milk.
Very similar to my.
But I like to do it slow. My wife is like, nothing. And I'm like drinking it for 1 hour. And it gets cold also. It's
Likewise, we're very similar at this point.
But I'm trying to do the Americano because I checked the milk is kind of like on your stomach. I get this bloating feeling.
Unfortunately, yes.
Right?
But Americano for me is just a kind of
like,
corrupted espresso.
Exactly, right? It's like, I completely agree. Completely. Let's cover the last thing. And this is more like a philosophical thing. What would be advice for anybody listening, watching, or also me, generally to have a better life? Not just business, not just making money, but just like generally to have a better experience of this, what we're doing right now.
I don't know. I don't know. Even for myself, I cannot give some kind of advice to strangers, actually. For me personally, the answer is very simple. Do something large and meaningful, like I did when I took the cadence of chairman of Ladban. It's quite, to be honest, it's a very rare case in Latvia when someone who is even not talking Latvian language well, who is leading the public organization. It's not the common case.
Yes.
So do something huge or even large and meaningful. First of all, love your family, your wife and your kids, and try to have more pieces of happy time rather than unhappy one. That's it. So, but it is not an advice. It's just an explanation. And I have no clue how to fulfill it even for myself.
Cool. Thank you for your time. So right now I have a present from myself, from
Wow.
Matis and our team, and from Andris, who is actually helping us with printing stuff, Printio.
Thank you so much.
Some presents.
Should I uncover it now?
No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary.
Just want to
you
take
could
a look
check
at this
that
mug.
That's our kind of the saying we do.
Stay sharp
and make a move.
Make a move.
Yeah,
Almost what we talked about during
exactly.
today's podcast.
It's exactly.
Thank you so much. It's great.
And I want to finish. Yes, thank you for coming, spending the time, plus sharing your story, plus sharing advice. And I want to say that right now we are cementing ourselves into the history of the internet with this conversation.
Agreed.
Cool.
Thank you so much for inviting me.